Okay, for this instructional video, we are going to be showing you the 3 projections involved in an SI joint study. So we'll be doing AP, RPO, and LPO. For all 3, we're going to be using a 10 by 12 with the red line at the bottom in our portrait or lengthwise orientation and inside the bucky. So we cannot shield for any of these, so we definitely need to check with our patient if when their last menstrual period was. That's exactly where we're shooting, so we want to check on that. And then we'll have them change out of anything that would be in the front, obviously. And then they'll just be supine for the first one. We'll start with the AP. Go ahead and put my cassette in the bucky here. All right. And I'm going to do my transverse detent. And that's the one that counts. And I'll be at 40-inch SID for this. I'm not going to line up quite yet. Because for the AP SI joints, we need a 30 to 35 degrees cephalic angle. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to do a 30-degree angle on Mrs. Skaggs because I think that's going to be sufficient. How I'm figuring that out is I'm just kind of looking at the way that her pelvis is laying on the table, and hers looks pretty even and standard and all those types of things. Now, if you have somebody that's got a big, like, lordotic curve, kyphotic curve, something along those lines, you might have to adjust your angle, but 30 is a good starting point, so that is what we are going to start with. I'm going to back this up and line up to my bucky. Cassette. Now this is a very steep angle, guys, so I want you to look inside your bucky and make sure you're lined up to your cassette, not just your bucky. In this case, it all pans out, but don't forget when we're using a very steep angle like that, it can be misleading. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just make sure she's nice and straight on my table here, which she looks pretty good. And I'm already centered to the midline of her, so now I just need to find my other centering point. So we're going to be looking at as is, and I'm just going to center right below as is. Your book might say 1.5 inches above pubic symphysis, but as we mentioned in other videos, I don't like to find pubic symphysis. You can find it if you want by feeling along the edge of their sides with your full hand till you find the bony projection. So I know this is it, so I would be 1.5 inches above, but if you notice, I'm already there because I went slightly below as is. So that's going to be a good positioning spot for us right here, and then I am going to collimate, because where your SI joints are located is just alongside the border of your sacrum and pelvis, so they're just right about right here, so I don't need to be all the way out here. I can come in pretty close, and I can come in even closer, top to bottom. It's a very narrow area that we're looking. Also, I know that your SI joints, again, are kind of at an angle like this in your body. So if I place my marker down here at the bottom, I'm more than likely not going to get into that joint anatomy. So I mark towards the bottom, and at the very, very bottom corner, I'm using my right marker here. And we will be using 90 kVp for all of these projections. So you just want your patient to hold their breath, and then you'll make your exposure there for the AP. Now when we go ahead and do our obliques next, we are going to use an angle sponge. When we do our obliques, we're going to take the angle off the tube. So we no longer are using a 30-degree angle on our tube. Instead, we're going to put our patient at a 30-degree angle. So that's how you can kind of remember this. Get your fingers there. Now line up here first. All right, so I'm going to start with RPO, which means my patient's right side is going to be down. So I'm going to have her roll towards me. I'm using a triangle sponge, which this is actually a 45. So I'm not going to tuck this all the way underneath of her to put her body at a 45. I'm actually going to leave it out to the lateral border of her to make myself a makeshift assistance as a 30-degree. So make sure you don't tuck this all the way underneath of them. Actually, let's do the other one so they can see what I'm saying. Okay. I don't want you guys to take this sponge and go all the way up underneath of her and then have her roll back. As you can see, now she's at a pretty steep 45. So I'm going to bring the point of this triangle out to the lateral edge of her and let her rest back towards it. I can actually see the point of the triangle now. It's not underneath of her, and since she's resting back so far, it's more of a 30 degree than you would be using with the other way. So we'll just do this right-sided one now. It's an LPO, but we're actually looking at the side up. So we're looking at the right SI joint, even though we are in LPO position. So that is confusing, but suffice to say that's what we're doing. So I'm going to actually roll her up a little bit and move this sponge down slightly. I really want to be underneath her hips, supporting to make sure that her body from here to here is all in the same orientation. I want her hips to really be supported on this sponge. Then I'm going to find her as is. It's right here. I'm going to center at the level of the as is, and I'm going to come over about an inch. So I'm going to go medial an inch from the as is, and then I'm going to collimate in nice and close. I want to collimate all the way to the edge of the as is, because I don't actually need the as is in my picture. I'm just using it as a reference point. So I can collimate into that nice and close. Again, we're looking at the side up, the right SI joint for this, and I'm going to try to mark nice and low here. And just suspend my patient's breathing, and I will use 90 kVp on this one as well. And then we'll do the exact same thing the other way. I'll have her roll up, roll back, roll up. I'm going to position this nice and low under the hip, out to the lateral border of her. Just don't look straight to me though. There we go. Okay. Making sure her legs are nice and straight. I'm going to find her as is. It's right here. Oh, look at that. I'm conveniently almost in the right spot. So, level of the as is, I'm an inch medial, but now I'm looking at this left SI joint here. So I need my left marker. Going to mark nice and low. And then I'm going to expose that at 90 kVp as well. And those are our 3 SI joint projections.